In today's video, I'm going to talk about two of my absolutely favorite things in life. One, of course, is astrology, and the other is reading and storytelling. So I use the art of storytelling in my astrological practice all the time. I grew up being a big reader. I was definitely a bookworm, and I got my bachelor's degree in creative writing and English literature. And I found that this practice of both learning about stories, reading stories, and also telling stories has really influenced how I do astrology readings. I firmly believe in the healing power of storytelling. And I have lately, in the last month or so, really been returning to my love of reading. I have to say that, social media and being on the computer had made it hard for a while for me to maintain that concentration that I needed to really get through a long novel. And I missed it. So over the winter time, I have been purposefully taking a break from social media and returning to books and returning to reading, which has really been a great joy. So I think stories build community. When we share our stories and when we share stories that are meaningful to us with each other, that builds a sense of community. And that's one thing that I want to do with my YouTube channel, especially as Pluto moves into Aquarius. Right now we're in Aquarius season. I think really being intentional about how we build community and who we're in community with is so important. And because astrology is also something that can be so complex, I think that when we ground it in a story, that it has much more meaning for people, and it is it acts more in a way that is healing than just being these abstract technical terms. So today I'm going to share a story that has to do with the sign of Pisces and the planet Neptune. And part of why I'm bringing this story to you today is because we're having this lineup taking place in Pisces over this weekend and over the next several days, where we've got the North Node in Pisces, we've got the planet Venus in Pisces, we have Neptune in its own modern ruler of Pisces, and also the moon is going to be in that same area. So this is a really special kind of Neptunian Pisces moment in time, and I wanted to celebrate it by sharing this this book that I recently read because it has so many Piscean Neptune themes in it. So I have read this author before. His name is Matt Hague, and he has a really interesting background story. Got a Pisces theme to it in that he experienced an emotional breakdown, and part of his recovery process was to begin to write. And he's written some wonderful, wonderful novels since that time. And some of them have been turned into movies, another Pisces theme, and he's a very popular author. So Matt Hague, and the book that I read is The Life Impossible. So oftentimes when I'm reading a new book or sometimes watching a new show or a movie, I will try to relate it to an astrological theme, whether it be a planet or a sign. And this book all the way through just kept saying Pisces, Pisces, Neptune. So what happened, I'm not going to give away the ending, but I do want to take you through some of the important parts of the story. So it begins with a math teacher whose name is Grace, which is a perfect Pisces name, Grace. It's such an important component of that Piscean experience of, you know, of feeling grace. What does that mean to give yourself grace, to give other people grace? What is grace? So we find out in this story. And so Grace is a retired math teacher, and she receives a letter from a former student who's very depressed, and she writes back to him. And the book begins with this letter from her to him, telling him her story of the last several months and this big adventure she's gone through. So she begins by talking about how logical she's always been. You know, she's a math teacher, so she deals in logic. And what happened is that she receives a offer from a woman that she knew very briefly, who was a teacher with her and that she was kind to. And the woman apparently has died. She received a letter from the woman's lawyer, and she's left her a home, in her home in Ibiza, in her will. And so at first, Grace is very perplexed. You know, she hardly knew this woman, and she's left her this home. And so she doesn't know what she's going to do. But then she decides that she's going to take a chance. And for her, this is a big deal. She's kind of been in this depressed place. Her young son died many years earlier, and then her husband died, and she's been kind of stuck in a place of grief and loss. And just making that connection between Pisces and the story, that Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. So it is part of the theme of it is really allowing yourself to let go and release and grieve what is gone, what has been lost, to give yourself the grace to have that moment. And so in this story, Grace is kind of stuck with that. She's still feeling that loss and she's blaming herself for it. So she decides to take a risk, take a chance. And she books a flight to Ibiza to check out this house that's been left to her. And she's resisting it, you know, the whole way. She's questioning herself. Why did I do this? This isn't practical. You know, I've never been, you know, this risk taking and allowed myself to kind of experience this, the unknown. Another Pisces theme is entering into the unknown. So she gets to the island and she starts to meet some of the people that were in the woman's life who died, who left her this house. And she begins to build connection, another Pisces theme. Pisces is that part of us that is connected to all of life, plant life, animal life, human life, that does not see the boundaries and the division, but that really experiences our complete sense of oneness and connection. And as she begins to slowly open up, she starts to forgive herself for the losses of her life and any kind of roles she played in them. Forgiveness is another big Pisces Neptunian theme. Then mysterious magical occurrences start to take place, and she can't make sense of them with her logical mind. She tries, and it's just beyond logic. And as the story continues to unfold and these mysterious, another Pisces theme, events continue to happen, she realizes that the source of the mystery and the magic is in the ocean. So remembering that Neptune, which is the modern ruler of the sign of Pisces, Jupiter is the traditional ruler, that Neptune is the Roman god of the ocean. Poseidon is the Greek god, the same god, just different traditions. And the realm of Neptune is that oceanic realm. That's where the power lies in that realm. So Grace begins to develop a relationship with this mysterious force, and she begins to have these incredible healing powers that begin to unfold for her the more she lets go and trust in this strange source of, from the ocean. So again, I'm not going to give away the ending, but healing begins to take place in this story on so many different levels. And there's all these unexplained, non-logical events that take place. And by the end of the book, Grace is transformed into someone who has hope, who sees the possibility, who sees the magic in life, and who's very connected to the spiritual or the divine. And I really thought this was such a powerful story for this time. And, not just astrologically, but what's happening in our collective, because it really does renew that sense of hope and faith and possibility and grace that is possible in life when we do take the time to grieve and let go and trust that there is a greater force at work. So if you get a chance to read it or listen to it on audiobook, I really hope that you will take that opportunity. Again, the book is, and I'll put it down below in the comments area, Matt Hague, The Life Impossible. I will be coming to you with another book that has a astrological planetary theme, and not too long. But if you have ideas for me of books that you feel have some kind of astrological theme, please put that in the comments below, and I'll take a look at those books and we can talk about what those themes are and how they're coming out in that particular story.